Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. You've likely continually heard me express how important I deemed 4680 batteries for quite some time now. Well, it turns out I was wrong. Well, to some extent at least. You see, on Battery Day, Tesla showed us 3 different cathode types: the nickel-based, nickel and manganese, and the LFP. Now, given Battery Day was all about the 4680s, it was somewhat implied that the LFP cathodes would be used in the cylindrical form 4680 batteries. This was further reiterated by Elon saying that eventually he wanted all vehicles to use the same form factor on the Joe Rogan podcast, even saying that within time he'll close down Fremont to move over to the 4680s there too, but it's not feasible for another couple of years. Therefore, we've expected that it likely nickel cathodes come out first, and then we would expect the LFP 4680s to roll out when, say, Berlin or Texas start producing standard range version Model Ys, and then the LFP batteries will come available at that stage, using Tesla's usual selling strategy of only selling the higher end versions first, i.e. long range and performance, until demand starts to dwindle and is boosted back with the standard range. But now we've just heard Elon say on the Q2 earnings, but I see us sort of like consolidating around a 4680 nickel-based structural pack for long-range vehicles, and then not necessarily a 4680 format, but some other format for iron-based cells. Wow, what a bombshell. How else can that not be inferred as Tesla will not use 4680s for their LFP batteries? This is Elon saying they're going to launch another battery. He also said that he expects 2/3 of batteries they require will be for LFP, but this is unlikely true, possibly still downplaying the importance of LFP, as he was also including the energy side of the business, and half of their battery supply would eventually be used for the energy business, which would leave just 1/6 of remaining LFP batteries for vehicles. Yeah, not likely. But due to the substantial cost saving of LFP batteries, well, it's obviously going to be in the $25,000 Tesla, and a $25,000 Tesla is alone going to be responsible for at least half of all sales. Therefore, half of the batteries go to energy, and then half of all vehicles go to Model 2. Then half of all other remaining vehicles would be standard range with LFP, implying 7/8 of batteries used for LFP, significantly higher than just 2/3. Either way, LFP is going to be a huge deal, although now this is disappointing that Tesla will not have their own LFP batteries for some time. This is Tesla's most vital product to the future of sustainable energy, without a doubt. And it's unlikely Tesla will have enough demand for the whole of 2022 to support only performance and long-range versions from Berlin and Texas, especially when they aren't all using structural 4680 batteries. And then 2023 too, when they're ramped up? Well, surely they can't expect to sell 100,000 long-range and performance Model Ys a month from each factory. I wouldn't have thought so. Yet, if Tesla are going to release a new LFP battery, well, that's going to take time. I don't know how many of you recall, but actually prior to Battery Day, a lot of us were speculating that there'll be 2 or 3 types of batteries offered. We weren't expecting them all to be the same form, namely one battery for cars and one for energy storage. The theory being that energy storage doesn't need to be so energy dense, so it can instead have a battery more suitable to price, made from more abundant ingredients. So how will Tesla be able to supply enough batteries to meet the demand of the Model Y in Texas and Berlin for the standard range versions? It's very likely that CATL will be able to supply batteries to Tesla, but what happens when Tesla need enough LFP batteries for 200,000 vehicles a month, likely in 2023, if Tesla haven't ramped up their LFP battery production by then? Well, no worries, CATL also realised what a big deal LFP batteries are. CATL are going crazy on ramping up their battery production, with targets of 380 gigawatt hours in 2022. Now remember, the Model Ys from the new factories will still have front and rear die-cast molds, and although the long-range performance models will likely initially have non-structural 2170 batteries, well, the LFP batteries will be structural from the start, so we might assume that the battery size may not be too far off 50 kilowatt hours, but possibly 55. 50 kilowatt hours is what's used currently in the Model 3 standard range, but either way, we're talking about 10 gigawatt hours a month of batteries. If 200,000 standard range cars are produced a month, including Fremont and Shanghai too, well, that would be well within CATL's capacity, so battery constraints should soon be a thing of the past. Manufacturing is like a chain, it's only as strong as the weakest link. Batteries have been the weakest link in the past, but it looks like chip shortages and other various components may be the new weakest link. Okay, so Tesla can make do without their own LFP batteries for some time, and it's likely Tesla can also use some of CATL's LFP batteries for their energy storage business too. It could very well be 2 to 3 years though, until we see Tesla's own LFP batteries at mass scale. Although presumably at that stage, they would have learned a significant amount from running their 4680 lines and have been through all the teething issues and resolved the dry slurry problems. So perhaps it might not be as difficult. On the other hand, we aren't even expecting 4680s at a decent rate until late 2022. I think just about all LFP cells used in EVs currently are of prismatic form, but I don't think Tesla will use a prismatic form because manufacturing is faster with the bottling style manufacturing process like they use for the 4680 batteries. It's going to be about production speed, but also LFP batteries are far more robust. They can handle faster charging speeds, they can handle being charged fully and then run down to empty. They're less prone to fires, of course much cheaper and abundant too. Yes, all these things, which is why I love to express how important they are. Okay, so it will likely be cylindrical, which is the best battery for the vehicle and auto manufacturer, but harder for the battery manufacturer. Another disadvantage for all the auto companies using prismatic and pouch form factors, aka another hit for the legacy autos. But does it mean maybe that they can take a different form factor more suitable to the benefits of LFP due to less concern with degradation? I'm actually really happy that Tesla are going with a different form factor for LFP. It was what I presumed was going to be announced on battery day anyway. As you can see in the graph, we were shown on battery day that the wider the diameter gets, then the lower the cost becomes. When using nickel, cost is highly important due to more expensive elements being used. But with iron, cost is not as important. So they make a new form factor designed better for range with LFP, as LFP batteries do struggle with more energy density. The relative extra cost may not be so noticeable for LFP, given the extra range this would allow them to achieve. Elon did however go on to say that there may even be 3 different types of form factors they use. This could imply 4680s for long range and performance, and LFP batteries designed for medium to short range, and then a third one designed for energy storage. The energy storage batteries might have a wider diameter to reduce costs. The wider the diameter, the lower cost of the battery cell. Remember, energy density is not important when it comes to energy storage. It's all about cost and speed of production. This would make sense. Oh, wait though. It's been calculated that 4680 batteries are already going to be able to get down to around $55 per kilowatt hour, which is amazing, given how 100 kilowatt hour seemed like such a barrier. But this is the 4680 batteries with nickel and likely manganese. I assumed this was going to be the cost of the LFP 4680 batteries. If that's not the case, then how cheap are the energy storage LFP batteries that Tesla will produce going to be? 25 to 30 kilowatt hours at the cell level? Seriously? I think I might try and look into this further, as if I am right, we can only begin to speculate the margins we might see in the energy business. To give you an idea, the large South Australian pack, I believe, was using 18650 batteries, and it paid itself off just in a few years. At that rate, then the new batteries will be paid off in perhaps just 6 months, as bear in mind there are other costs associated just on batteries. I think I might do a revised projection for the energy business based on this, if it turns out to be likely. That is huge, and I'm not even factoring in VPP or auto bidder. Perhaps these LFP batteries also need to be designed in a way that they can be produced even faster, and perhaps build the factories and production lines quicker too, as it's a total license to print money. Okay, I can understand why Elon is sandbagging so hard. This company is going to be worth so much. I would keep it under wraps too. If government and big energy started doing these numbers, then they may not like it. To conclude, I'm actually really happy this is happening. Now I recall, I was somewhat disappointed that Battery Day only offered one form factor. So although this will delay Tesla's own LFP battery, CATL can more than cover the demand in the meantime. And this simply means that the batteries will be more efficient and better designed to the task at hand. This is great news. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.